So Lamar Jackson continued to express optimism, and Lewis, you just had their game a week and a half ago, so I know you've watched every snap of their season to this point. But if you're talking about a passing game that lacks sort of some dynamic option to it, what if I told you that one of the greatest receivers of all time is potentially available out there? His 8-game suspension is set to expire reasonably soon. Lewis, should the Ravens be giving serious consideration to signing Antonio Brown?
I can see where you could go down that road, Green, and you could have that discussion, because there's no question that when you objectively look at the numbers for Lamar, when you're talking about targeting tight ends and backs and attacking the middle of the field versus targeting wide receivers and tight ends outside the numbers down the field, that there's a precipitous drop-off. The production just isn't there, and there's a number of different reasons for that. Some of it is personnel, some of it is just execution, some of it's lack of accuracy. There's a number of different things. So I understand why you start going down that road thinking, man, wouldn't it be nice if we could have one of the very best to ever do it on the outside? Well, of course it would, and I'm sure they're going to discuss that internally, and I'm sure they've already discussed it internally. I think there's time, though, between now and the time that Antonio would be available to kind of come to that kind of decision and make that kind of decision, and whether or not it would be good for the football team and help push them over the hump and make sure that they have all their bases covered. Because there's no question that they have already put an emphasis on this part of Lamar's game, this part of the offense's overall evolution. Can we make teams back off? Can we make teams really consistently respect the fact that you keep trying to creep up in this box on Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram in the running game, we're going to burn you on the outside. They know they need to do that. They haven't been able to do it yet. So, yeah, that's going to be one of those decisions that that John Harbaugh is going to have to make as they move down the line here along with their front office.
Nick, does it make sense to you?
Nope. I feel like AB is a desperation move, and the Ravens are not in a desperation situation. Like, they had the best offense in the league last year, and they still didn't accumulate a ton of passing yards. They were efficient passing the ball. If they could get Marshall Yonder, if we talk about some all-time greats, that's the guy they need to get back. If they can get Marshall Yonder, their future Hall of Fame guard who retired last season, they can get him back. I think that impacts the offense. It keeps the pressure off Lamar and allows him to operate. But the idea that the Ravens want to or should want to become some sort of dominant pass-first attack, I think, is a bad one. Again, their offense was really efficient and really good last year and was near, I think, 27th as far as yards passing last year. That's just not the way that they're built, and that's okay. I agree with Lamar that they need to hit some more of these passes, and I understand that they attack the middle field, but there's a reason behind that, because they're putting the linebackers and safeties in a bind with the way they need to attack the running game. So then they obviously exploit that bind by attacking behind them with tight ends and backs. So I don't know. I think Lamar's expressed some optimism, and he should. We don't want to overreact to one game where they were really, really bad offensively against the Chiefs, and understand that this offense is built differently from the rest of the offenses in the league.
Schefter, just catch us up again for those who don't remember or aren't aware of the exact circumstances. If the Ravens or any team are interested in Antonio Brown, what would have to happen?
Well, right now he's suspended 8 games. There's also the chance that he could face further discipline from the NFL. So you have to wait to see whether the NFL wraps up any other looks into Antonio Brown's off-the-field situation before we know that he can play after 8 games. And again, he has not worked out for another team. It makes it harder than ever in a year like this to go work out a player. Teams are limited in the number of workouts they can have, and they so far have not been willing to use one. And Antonio Brown, I just think, out of sight, out of mind right now is what it feels like to me. Again, he wants to play. He'd love to play. We know how gifted and talented he is. He's an all-time player. But you haven't heard any hankering from any team saying, boy, we need Antonio Brown now to turn things around.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.